Call to order at 2:13 p.m. This meeting is being recorded and will be posted on YouTube. Verification of quorum and volunteer to take minutes. We do have a quorum. All our committee members are here, and Nancy has agreed to take the minutes. I'll accept the motion to approve the March 10, 2023 minutes.
So moved.
Okay. Second,
I second.
all in favor? Unanimous. Public comments. Other than our two board members, I don't see anybody from the public, right, Josh? No hands up and stuff like that.
Part of the public. Do you have any comment?
I have a question, actually.
Sure.
With the 200 words, is that per question?
Yes,
Okay,
per question. Yeah.
thank you.
Seeing that there's no public comments, Board of Director Liaison remarks, Vice President Farr.
Thank you for the time. I just want to thank the entire election committee for all the hard work that they have spent over the past several months putting this all together to where we're at today. I know there has been some adversity. There's been some timelines. I do appreciate all the work that the election committee has done in answering the questions that the board has asked. Your professionalism is noted, and it is well appreciated. And definitely looking forward to a great election, and that we hope that will be flawless. And the work that you've done to provide a great resource in the vendor with Election Trust. That was outstanding work in doing that. And just looking forward to this whole election season, and with a great outcome where we won't have any issues. So thanks again.
Thank you, Rick. Chairperson remarks, just to piggyback on what Rick said, Election Trust is the contractor in Washington State. They are going to mail the ballots via the U.S. Postal Service to owners of record the week of July 11th. Ballots must be mailed back to Election Trust and be received by close of business on Tuesday, August 8th. August 8th, yes. And we reviewed MO6, and it says by the Wednesday, but we're doing it on Tuesday because we are going to give a day in order for us to see if any ballots have been dropped off locally to get them FedExed out to Washington State.
All right. If I could say something, I believe MO6 says prior to Wednesday at the close of.
Yes,
It
yes,
says prior to, so it could be any time
prior to, yes, yes. Okay, review election committee schedule and phone monitoring. So the telephone is still going to be in service to where we answer the phone and take the message, and then we pass on the requirement or answer the question. So we have 4 weeks. So the first week is going to start on July 16th. Do I have a volunteer to July 16th? Take that, one of you.
Sure.
Okay, so Nancy's got it July 16th. The following week, July 23rd.
Hold on just a second. Let me just clear my schedule to make sure there's no conflicts. Did you say the 23rd through the 29th?
Yes.
23rd through the 29th.
I mean, you can answer, you go on the phone and you listen to the message. You could do that at midnight or, when you get up in the morning. So
Oh, you don't have to be there.
you don't
during
have to be there. No.
Oh, okay.
You're dialing into this building.
It's forwarded to my phone,
No. You're going to call a number here
right?
at the admin building and put in the 4-digit code
Okay,
of that phone.
and then review the message.
Yes, review the message.
Gotcha.
So you good for the 23rd?
Yes, sir.
All right, Tom, how about the 30th?
I can do that.
Okay, Steve, And lastly, August 6th.
Yeah.
George, okay.
The jail chaser.
That'll be the heavy duty one. Everybody's gonna be at the last minute.
Okay, before the candidates left, we discussed the candidate forum, and they've all agreed to 6 p.m. on Wednesday, June 21st at the clubhouse. The forum will be taped and available for replay after the forum has finished. And Josh will put out to the public that questions for the candidates can be sent to elections@oceanpines.org. More new business is set an early June meeting date for the development of election trust instructions, inserts, and a point of contact for eligible and ineligible voter lists. As we stated in our request for proposal, there's 8,500 property owners in Ocean Pines. Based upon past statistics, 700 of those owners are ineligible to vote for various reasons. Could be behind in assessments, could have a lien, or some type of violation. So that leaves 7,800 voting packages that will go out. And as we've stated, since our November report, our January report, our February report, and our May report, there's going to be a ballot package to send to each owner of a lot. 7,800 of them.
Each lot.
Each lot. If you own 6 properties, you're going to get 6 envelopes. If you own 2, you're going to get 2.
As opposed to last year.
As the weighted online and instructions to come back to the membership office to get additional ballots and envelopes didn't work out too well. That was discussed at the annual meeting. So let's set a June meeting for our review of election trust instructions. And by the way, Elections Trust, their operations manager, his name is Tim. We're going to coordinate with him on the dates we set this up because obviously they have they're instrumental in putting all this together. We will have the candidate information. We have to give that to them. We have to give them the Excel spreadsheets of the eligible and ineligible. And by the way, I'm hopeful that the membership out there, their information on the Ocean Pines membership is up to date and correct. And I can tell you that being the manager of the website for the Corvettes of Ocean Pines, we've had several members that went from Mediacom to Comcast, and they no longer have Mediacom email because when they left Mediacom, they lost their email. But they haven't a lot of people haven't updated that in records. So make sure you get your information. And the reason for that is Election Trusts scans the envelopes each day. At the end of the week, they summarize it in a report and it comes back to the Elections Committee. Meanwhile, when they scan that envelope, they tie it to the Excel spreadsheet that we provide them. And if your email is in that spreadsheet, which it probably is, you're going to get an email that they received your envelope. That closes the loop. That's never happened before.
Tom, should we be proactive and get some word out to the voters about?
Absolutely, and it started right today. And Cindy is on it. I'm sure Joe is going to be on it. And Josh is he's key in a lot of this, of how we get this out. He's done it for several years, but that's important. Make sure your membership data is up to date. In fact, a lot of people don't know that if you go on the Ocean Pines website, you can establish a logon ID to your member information. And that's how I paid my assessment. You go to the top of the web page, log on, establish account. You should know what your member number is. I think it's five character member number. That's on your when you get your assessment bill. Yeah, it's 5 characters. You put that in there, you establish an account, which is your email address, which now you've updated the membership, and a password. And then I put my bank information in, and an hour later, I got a reply back that the membership office had received my assessment. So you can do that if you choose to. That's up to the member. But we'll get that word out. So looking at the calendar, what if we do this in a week? Maybe the 8th, Thursday? Or how about the 9th? Because Steve.
I'm sorry, my time machine's broken. You mean June the 8th?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Did you say,
Well, no, I'm suggesting this. Today's June 2nd. We've got a hard stop date of the 15th to deal with election trust on the documentation. So anywhere in between that, we've got to have a meeting and assemble all the information.
what about the questions that we have to give to the candidates? When does that have to be?
That's going to be done today.
Oh, it is? Oh, so-
We haven't gotten to that yet.
okay.
And they've got to cut it. We gave them a cutoff date of the 8th. So it probably makes sense to have that meeting, let's say
The 9th.
on the 9th.
Yep.
Okay.
What time?
We can do it in the morning. We can do it hybrid.
10 o'clock in the morning on the 9th?
That's good
Is
for
that
me.
convenient for most people, or is that?
For old folks like me, 10 o'clock's good.
Yeah,
No,
10
it is.
10's about the early.
Okay, fine. That's good.
Thank you, George.
Okay, so we got that taken care
You're
of.
a young
Well,
kid.
let's stick together.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, I like
We have
going
the
in bed.
potential that Frank David Street's going to be open. What is the drop dead date where there will not be 4 people on the, or there will only be 3, and we will end up at the end of the year with only 6 directors? And the board will pick that 7th as opposed to electing. What's the drop dead date for adding a 4th candidate?
I'd have to look that up. I think it's July.
I think you had it in one of your.
No, it won't be July.
It's before.
It's not adding the candidate, it's adding 3,
A slot?
another slot.
Yeah, I got you, Joe.
4 people.
Yes, yes. I don't know. I'll have to,
That's fairly important because it's coming up.
yeah.
So in other words, if Frank Daly does not say anything, there'll only be 3 people there. He ends up leaving the new board after the election. The 6 people that are on the board will vote to select someone to serve for the next
For
year.
his term. Okay,
His term for the 1 year.
I'll come up with that date. I've read about that, but I just don't have it. at the
It's
top
in
of my
one of
mind.
your emails. I
Yeah.
think, on one of those
It
documents.
has to,
We'll find
there's language in there about if we've printed the ballots and the information and sent it out. Because there's no turning back at that point.
That would be the 15th.
We'll
We'll
look it
have
up.
to look it up.
That would be June 15th, because that's the day that we have to
Okay.
finalize
Yeah, but
it with the election trust.
Well, that's true, but eligibility to vote, it has to be as of July 6th,
we'll look it
700.
up.
Right,
It's in here somewhere, but
Yeah.
I can't.
but we'll figure that out.
That's a good thing, I think, too. Yeah,
All right. The questions that, and it's gonna be public. There are 22 questions here. Anybody have any, did you rank them? Anybody,
yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
Can I make a comment?
sure.
Okay, looking through this, and I went through it kind of with my husband, who he's not involved in anything, but he's really interested and he keeps up with everything. And we noticed that probably half of these are about situations that have been resolved. You know, like how can we improve the amenities? Excuse me, good, great. What about the financial situation? Great. It's like most of them are things, they're specific things that were big deals in years past.
They're time specific.
Right. And so that knocks out about half of them.
Okay,
So
And there's a couple of doubles and triples. in
there's
this,
lots
too.
of doubles and triples. So anyway, I just wanted to preface that I knocked out.
I did the same thing on the thing. I used the sheet as a markup.
Hmm.
And I went through and eliminated all of the
redundant.
past redundant stuff. And I came up with, just to get the ball rolling here, I came up with number 3, which is kind of open-ended. I came up and I scored number 4 as a half and a link to number 10. So 4 and 10 could be a complex sentence or a statement. I went down to number 13, which I ranked as number 1, and I linked it to number 19. And then the final question, number 22, I ranked as number 2. So number 22 is number 1, number 2 for me. 13 combined with 19 was number 1, and number 3 on the list you provided, I ranked as number 3. And I eliminated the rest of them, just my personal opinion. I kind of went with Nancy's husband thing of the redundant questions, the ones that dealt with old infrastructure issues. And we really want to expose what the person's thinking, as opposed to a specific, like Northgate Bridge. It's a non-issue for us because it's tied with the state of Maryland DOT. You know, it's a thing that's going to happen down the road. So that's my 2 cents on
Good.
and I would submit this to you.
I wrote it all down.
Oh, you don't need the link?
No,
Okay.
good work.
I appreciate you giving me the list.
But listen,
Now, I
it's a
came
tape.
up with something very close. I came up as my number 1 is number 19. What do you think is the top issue facing OPA?
Mhm.
And what is the potential solution?
Which you tied to number 13,
Number
Yeah.
13.
which is your number 1 question.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
all right.
Yeah, I would have written or would write it as, what do you feel are the most significant issues you intend to address as a director, comma, and what do you think the top issue is facing OPA and potential solution as a question, combining them.
Okay,
So you don't, you want to have it so that they have to provide a complex answer, not a simple yes, no, or
No,
I'm very good or something
Right.
like that.
I came up with my second one. This is something that goes on and off.
You need the questions?
Yeah. No.
And I did number 11.
Yeah.
Do you see any areas where outsourcing might be appropriate? Then thrown back and forth, it worked with our yacht club. It didn't work with the golf course. But anyway, that was my number 2. My number 3 is what experience has prepared you for serving as a director of this association,
which is question 1.
which is question number.
Okay. Nancy?
Yeah, question number 1 and 15. What are your greatest strengths and how can they be used on the board? I think those are it's what almost every interview for a job asks, especially pertinent to any kind of group.
Okay,
And actually that's a very good introductory question because it's kind of a little bit of a bio kind of thing. So if we ask them a little bit about, how they feel about themselves ask them a little bit about, as Tom said, about what they see for the future. Like, I really like the next 2 or 3 years, number 3. What do you see is something that needs to go, to be looked at?
Tom, are we allowed to expand on this list with our own words? Because one thing, as I read over this, one thing that concerns me greatly is someone's approach to collaboration with other board members. In recent years, we all know the history. There's been some strong words, arguments, call them what you will, but I would be interested to know how they would approach maybe even being on the minority of an issue, or persuading the other directors to their point of view, because I see that as a key skill to serving on a board. Just my 2 cents.
And if I could bring up something that was started a number of years ago, which I thought was very good. With the way the board is structured now, there is very little, let's discuss this. They take their turns making comments and whatever. But was it Bill Z that started the work session, or was,
Zawacki.
huh?
Bill Zawacki.
Yeah, Bill's wacky. I thought that was a great thing, is to have a work session where and the work session is in public, and people can come in and discuss it with the board. Right now, if something comes up on the board in a formal meeting, yes, you can have a public comment, but you cannot discuss with the board unless asked. And they have to stop the Robert's rules, except for John Viola and whatever, that it's automatically in. It doesn't have to be changed with that, it's just, and the, but I think that work session is super.
What's that got to do with the election? Though?
Yeah.
With the question,
Oh, you mean to ask? Okay.
it was to ask a question, how do they feel about the work sessions?
Being open to the public with engagement.
Yes, and
Right.
not in addition to the the formal board meeting.
Now, this is where we have to decide whether we're going to be specific or general.
This is-
how much
this is a
leeway
tough one.
we're going to give the candidate.
Disagreement does not mean disrespect, but what we see in the board sometimes disrespect and disagreement. That would be a good question. In other words, what is your approach to, and I'm going to have to write this up and pass it out to you and let you agree to it. So I'll take that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I would argue, if that's the right word, against the bio questions, because the bio's already out there. They've been given a chance to do that. If I want your bio, if I'm interested enough to be at the forum,
Right.
I've read the bio. So I don't need that again, but I would be more interested in finding out what their priorities are, how they're
How
going,
they think.
how they're going to think,
Right.
and that requires some thought. They're going to be very thoughtful questions, but
These questions are not for the forum.
They are not for the forum. These are the 3 questions that will be given to the candidates, which they do a 200-word answer to each of them and wind up in the Ocean Pine Summer Report and in local press. So number 3 is a given. Got that one. Let's see here. Number 13 also. What do you feel are most significant issues you intend to address as a director? The other one was, what do you think are the top issues facing the association over the next 2 to 3 years. I guess the third question would be, is getting along with others and approach.
Maybe it's what is your approach to conflict resolution within a small committee?
Okay. Good.
Yeah, I think some of these other questions would be good to put in the hopper for the forum. You know what I'm
We're
saying?
gonna look at that.
Yeah, that's a whole nother mix.
That's a whole nother mix.
Okay.
To do that. Yeah.
And you just come to the thing and just, they have to pull one out.
Yeah, I think that would be fantastic. if
Yeah.
they did that.
Yeah, Josh.
Were you talking about doing away with the bio?
No.
Okay, good.
No.
I think that's important for the.
No, we're just not gonna waste our time asking it as a third question. Cause it's already a given. I hope.
Yes. Okay.
Gentlemen, ladies, I need to
Well,
leave for my anniversary dinner, so I gotta go.
You don't want to be late.
I mean, somebody, how many years did she put up with you?
51.
My God, she's the same.
Ours was yesterday. This is
It's like my wife. is
Well,
the same.
49 married and 2 in sin for 51.
Oh, so I got you beat there.
Oh my God.
We go back to high school.
Joe, see you,
Let
brother.
me know when you get to 64, you'll be up.
Okay,
We're gonna have to stop so I can catch up.
any other, thanks, Tom, see ya. Any other questions, concerns, anything? No? Yes, no, all right. We're adjourned at, what is it? 2:39.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
George. Second by Steve. Unanimous. Okay, thanks, everybody.
George.